journey, and I have made it to the gym. It was tough. Hi, guys, and welcome back to Locked In with Shay. Yes, baby. Give me 1 second. Just kidding. Hi, guys, and welcome back to Locked In with Shay. I have to get Zari together real quick. But today is like a mini get ready with me / Chit-Chat. We're more so focused on the Chit-Chat part, but I'm going to be obviously doing something while I'm talking to you guys. Hopefully you all can hear me well on this mic. Today's topic is going to be the beginning and basic steps to starting to kill depression or starting to pull off of depression and ADHD meds if you're on meds. If you're not on meds, but you know you deal with depression, things like that, totally welcome here as well. This is a safe space. I want everybody in this locked in with Shay community to know this is a safe space. So when I tell you all on videos, don't leave negative comments. And if you have something negative to say, to keep it to yourself. It's not just for me, it's for everybody in the community. Because if somebody wants to comment or open up about things, I want them to know that this is a safe space, because it is. Because anybody who speaks negatively, or I don't like how you talking to somebody up in here in this community, you will be kicked out. Because this is going to remain a safe space. Um, but yeah, I want to get started in talking about how do we start this? It sounds so good to be like, yeah, I ain't gonna be depressed no more. But the true question is, where do I start? It sounds good, sound easy. If that was the case, nobody would be depressed if we could just be like, you know what? I woke up today, I'm not gonna be depressed anymore. It doesn't work like that. Or I woke up today, I'm not gonna struggle with ADHD anymore. It's not realistic. So, what are the steps that I took? So, this is that it's a lot. I started my self love journey in 2020, April. I've been off my meds for 2 years now. So, it's like this has been an ongoing process. It is definitely a journey. And I want to let you know now, as a forewarning, that starting this journey is starting your love journey all in one. Because as you pull away from meds, or as you fight depression, or whatever you decide is what you're focused on, or just humbly working on yourself in general, um, what's going to be unveiled to you is your real, true, authentic self. And during this journey and this process, sometimes you're not going to like what you see. And when I say not like what you see, I don't mean physical, what the naked eye can see, but even inside. You may have thought you was a real person. You may have thought you was the greatest friend. You may have thought you was the best wife, the best husband, the best girlfriend, best boyfriend. And then as you start to really break down and peel off the layers of yourself, you start to realize and see where your flaws lie, where your weak spots are, that you may have not paid attention intentionally before, but now they're unveiling themselves. So this is all a process. And but the good part and the positive part about that is that change is inevitable. And so once you are aware, that's the first step to change. Then it'll be implementing steps, procedures, routines, habits, that's going to enforce that change and see it through. So yeah, I just want to get that out the way and address that head on. So this touches on so many different bases, even if it's not depression, even if it's not ADHD, if it's just you wanting to elevate, you wanting to build yourself up, you wanting to grow. then you came to the right place. If you see me looking down, I'm checking to make sure my mic is still on. But yes, so I'm so happy because I feel like we've just reached a new level of a relationship with one another at this point. And I say that because I'm getting more comfortable, and that's new for me. So like in the beginning of this, it was just me recording until God told me like what's really my purpose on YouTube. I really didn't know. I know I like you. I know I love beauty, makeup, all that, but what's my real serving purpose? Because I know I have a big influence on people. I know my light shines. I know I have a power in my words. So it's like, what does God want me to do? But I realized that it's just as much as you're healing, you need to expose it, bear witness, and show people what I've done in your life, but also what they can do in theirs by being that voice, being that example, being an example. Um, and that spoke to my heart. And that's what I'm going to do because I am here to fulfill the dreams of the Creator. Okay? So let's get to it. So the basics to beating depression, pulling off a medication. Let's start with um, understanding the mind. I feel like that is the number one start is understanding the mind. I don't think I'm gonna wind up being able to do my makeup. It's so passionate, and I feel like I gotta focus in. But anyways, um, basically the brain, the mind cannot distinguish what's reality versus fantasy, which I talked about in my previous video for a very short period of time. But it can distinguish what's fantasy versus reality. That's our advantage. Some people didn't realize that or could not realize that, and so they deal with mental illness like schizophrenia and things like that, where the mind can't distinguish what's reality versus fantasy at that point, and the person can't either at that point. But that's an advantage that if used properly, you can manifest and affirm any and everything you want in your life, because the brain does whatever you allow it to believe it can do. So, for example, in the Bible, it talks about sin. Like negative thoughts will come to your mind. That's natural. The devil wants you to think these things. So he'll plant the seed. But the sin is what you decide to do with that idea once he sits it in your mind. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's the same thing how the brain operates when you plant the seed of what you want the brain to do. So if I so this is a common one that I used to do when I dealt with depression heavy. Um, I used to always call my mom or even by myself. I would just constantly say, I'm mad. I'm pissed. I'm mad. I'm pissed. So then it would always show up in my body language. It would show up. People would say I have a resting bitch face. Different things like that, because it was just showing up because I said it so many times to my brain that my brain took that in, let it soak in. Okay, she's mad, she's pissed. How are we going to show up? How are we going to make that show up in her body language? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what she obviously wants to portray, because she keeps yelling out with passion that she's mad and she's angry. I had a very great friend, and his name is Alan. He really broke this down to me, and it was the first person I ever came across. And I feel like that was the important part on why I feel like it was necessary for me to get on camera and be on YouTube and talk about these things. He was the first person after having counseling since kindergarten, having therapy, therapists all the way, to throughout my adulthood, like when I got pregnant. So I was pregnant. I was always had a therapy. I had a psychiatrist on and off. I've been admitted to mental rehab before, being on the medications and things like that. He's the first person that ever told me. And I was offended originally. Like when I told him I was depressed and stuff and I was dealing with that, he was like, that's a choice. Now when I tell you I was a little salty and a little offended originally, because it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. I'm just like thinking in my head like, so you think I'm just choosing every day to wake up and be sad, be mad, be pissed. You feel me? But then once he broke down how the brain operated, it made it seem like that's the only thing I can call it when you have control over the mind. But the issue was I didn't know that at first. Just like with the black community, it's just like a lot of people they talk about like they act the way they act because of their upbringing and things like that. But it's also because they wasn't aware of the resources they had, or they didn't. There was a lack of resources, and they didn't know where to go to find it. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like it's the same way when you're dealing with depression stuff and no one's telling you these things, then you don't know. If you don't know how the mind operates, if you don't know how the brain operates, or you don't know how to gain control of it, you know what I'm saying? I'm very big on don't tell me a problem without coming behind it with a solution. Like if you told me like you run slow, I would be a little agitated because my thing is most likely I know that already. And two, do you have advice on how to get fast? Because if not, the words that you just shared with me was a waste of time and space because clearly I already know I'm slow as hell, you know? So I feel like that is so important. But yes, um, making a decision, I feel like is number two. You have to make a decision. So one, I want you to look up and do research and just find like nice. It's a podcast and it's called The Genie and it's by The Sessions. It's by The Sessions and it's called The Genie. And it gives in its own podcast, the app, and it's a podcast. It literally breaks down, and even in the podcast, he makes you draw out a figure and shows you how the brain operates. And it's a very interesting and very informative podcast. So please listen to it, and it'll give you a rundown on how the brain operates. Needless to say, this is just random, but I got to throw that in there. Obviously, seeing that lets you know you're going to be taking a lot of notes. So you're going to need a couple of journals. I wouldn't start with less than three. You want a journal for all your little notes that you're going to get from podcasts, YouTubes, all that. But then you also want a journal that you can put your thoughts into. And then three, you want a journal that you can just manifest and you can just live out your fantasies and you can get into your own head and get creative. And a manifest journal, what it is that you speak in future tense. And so basically you talk as though it's already happening, it's already being done. So I can say, oh my, put the day and be like, dear Shay, today was such a great day. I got to buy um my first Tesla straight off the lot, cash, all cash. And then after I went to lunch with my best friend to celebrate, I'm a little tipsy off the mimosas from brunch, and it's just like all that didn't happen, but I'm speaking as if it did to manifest. And that's all you would do in that journal. So you wouldn't put nothing besides your manifestation stuff inside of there. And it's called scripting. That's what it's called when you're doing that. When you're speaking in future tense about things that have not occurred yet, it's scripting. So that'll be your scripting journal where you can just manifest. And yeah, so you'll need three journals, and this is just so you can just start emptying the tank, emptying your mind. It's going to be a lot on your mind, especially if you have ADHD, whatever it is, and you want to just always have a place to empty, whether it be at the gym, whether it be your journal. You get what I'm saying? That's why your habits is important. You know what I'm saying? Um, and by doing these things that I'm saying right now, the podcast, the journaling, the scripting, you're already implementing positive habits into your life. You get what I'm saying? You're already changing habits. You're already reconstructing the mindset. You know what I'm saying? Because now your mind is starting to see you saying different things. You get what I'm saying? Your mind is hearing different things. The other big important thing, I don't want to overtalk, so that's why I think I'm not going to do my makeup and I'm just going to finish this message out because I don't want to overshare and give you too much to focus on at one time. So I want to leave you with only a few things. But yes, so dang, I forgot what the last part I was at. But anyways, yes. So you want to have your journals and everything. So by doing this, you're already implementing positive habits, positive routines. You're already reconstructing the mind because it's seeing you. I know where I was going with this. It's seeing you write down things. It's seeing different positive things in your journal. It's hearing different positive things. When you start this journey, the most important part is to guard your ears, eyes, and heart. Okay? You want to guard your ears, eyes, and heart. The reason you want to do those things because those is, first of all, that's where everything flows from the heart. So that's so important. But then also your ears and your eyes because that all feeds into the brain. So that's why it's important to start finding you different people, different podcasts you like. A lot of your YouTubers you like most likely probably have a podcast. Look and see if they had that. Or what topics are they talking about. Being conscientious of what you feed the mind is very important during this time when you're trying to reconstruct the mind. It's already been taunted with. It doesn't need anymore. So with that guarding the heart, eyes, and the ears, you're gonna start losing people. I feel like one important thing people don't really talk as much about during a love journey or a self improvement journey is that you're gonna be dealing with a lot of loss because it's a lot of change happening. Okay, and because you're attentional and woke, I feel like you're moving at a more steadier and a little more, just a tad bit faster pace, um, because you're being intentional. And being consistent, you're knocking out your LOAs. So, which is your law of averages, which is your numbers. Like how consistent I am is going to bring me closer to my goal. The more consistent I am, the one moment I stop, it fucks up the numbers. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, with that, you really want to just make sure everything you're hearing is positive and it's helping you, it's serving the purpose of what you're currently doing. So try to listen to music as least as possible. Like for me, so right now when I drive in a car, I listen to an audiobook. Right now I'm listening to Attached. If it's not an audiobook, it would have been a podcast. I try my best to manage and pick and schedule when I'm going to listen to music. So right now, the only time I really listen to music is maybe when I'm getting ready, but most of the time I have my little affirmations that I listen to, especially when I'm doing my makeup, because it makes me feel good about myself, like top tier, because I am. But why wouldn't I want to hear somebody, hyping me up while I'm doing my makeup? That's a creative thing to do while you're doing your makeup. If you're doing makeup or something and you don't want to listen to music and you really want to be conscientious of what you're feeding your mind. So I'll listen to some affirmation tones. When I'm working out, I'll listen to my music. But when I'm driving, I'll listen to a book, podcast, whatever, a YouTube video teaching me something. Every day I put on my to-do list to learn something new. Start learning something new because as you're going through this process, you're learning yourself and you're learning who you want to be, not on medication. You can decide. You decide by learning and watching. Find people you look up to, people who've been through relative situations like you. Like you found me because I related to you in some way, shape, or form. Find more people that relate to you and are further than you in the progress. And take notes on what they're doing. What does a routine look like? And I'm not saying you're trying to copy off them, by no means necessary. But there is an appropriate time to follow. Like it's a saying that a great leader knows when to follow. So it's okay to follow, but make sure you following stuff that makes sense, the right thing. Like you get what I'm saying? Like if I seen somebody just slap somebody that did nothing to them and I follow behind them and do the same thing, that's stupid. But if I see you buy a vending machine, fill it up with snacks, and make some quick bread and I go follow you and do it too, I don't care if you call me a follower. I got some bread though. Follow positive things, like period. So, Yeah, just be conscientious, be intentional. What do you want to know more about? And no question is a bad question. I feel like that's the important part regarding your ears, your eyes, and your heart. No, I'm sorry. No question is a bad question. So when I first started, it was a lot of YouTube videos I was watching, and I would be like, how to build confidence, how to love yourself, how to build yourself up, how to change your lifestyle, how to work out. You know what I'm saying? For example, the workout video is a good one. I don't watch people that don't have a realistic similar shape like me. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm trying to watch somebody who was big and then got toned and built muscle, I'm not looking at somebody that's not my size. That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you just want to look at it when you're finding these role models and stuff like that. But they're going to be your extra push you need. They're going to be your friends when you're going through these different seasons and your circles is constantly changing. They're going to be what's consistent. Um, and I feel like another and very, very important one, and this is what I'm going to leave you with, is find something to believe in. Have some type of faith. And I say this in the most serious way. And I say it like that because people have a heart attack over the word religion. When really, I feel like religion is just a way of people being able to commit to something that's going to hold them accountable to being a civilized human being. Really, I swear that's all I believe when I think religion. Because honestly, I just, even growing up as a kid, when I questioned if God was real, I always questioned, always checked myself and told myself, say God isn't real, Shay. Say you get to heaven and or you pass away and God isn't real. What you gonna do? Regret being a good person? That's all the Bible really be getting you to do is be a good person. You know what I'm saying? So you want to find something to believe in, and the reason I say that is because when I think of the word faith, I think of uh, being led without sight. And when I say being led without sight, I mean I can't see, I'm blind, but I'm being led, so I'm continuing my path and I'm walking. So that is important to have during times like this when you're going through these tough journeys because when you're not your best, when you're not feeling good, when you don't feel like going, this pushes you. But then it also gives you structure. It offers structure because they have certain traditions, certain things they go by, which allow you which allows them to train you into being a human being, a civilized human being. You know what I'm saying? God, gods, whatever you believe in, whether it just be spirituality, the universe. Um, but yeah, um, I think you should go into this headstrong, knowing that you can do it. It's all a matter of choice and how serious you are, and what are you willing to sacrifice, and what are you willing to do to get to a place of freedom within the mind, within yourself. And I want you to personally know this is you versus you. This is you versus you. And you challenging yourself to pull out the best version of yourself as possible. Um, so yes, with this being said, I want you to leave this video with the starting mindset that even when you're not motivated, even when you feel down, even when you feel sad, even when you feel mad, do it anyway. Whatever it is. I don't know what I'm talking about, who this for, but God telling me to say it. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. You're not gonna always be motivated. And I've heard a lot of podcasts that say it's not even all that hyped up to be all about when I feel motivated because that's a temporary feeling. You gotta still do it when you're not motivated. Still do it when you're mad. Still do it when you're sad because God, the universe, whatever you believe in, still wants you to show up. That's all you gotta do, really, is show up. There's so many times I done showed up to places I didn't want to be because I know I should be there and I need to do what I need to do. And it was nothing but blessings and opportunities there because my only job was to show up. When it be hard like that, most of the time, because it's hard like that, God knows that, and His only expectation for you is to show up, just like you showed up on this video to watch it. He just needed you to show up. so he can give you your message. So I don't know who that was for. I don't want to over talk. I hope you took notes. If not, feel free to go back and take notes. Rewind, play it as many times as you need to. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your bell notifications. Give me 1 second, baby. Turn on your bell notifications to be notified next time I drop a video. And thank you all. You are tuned in to Locked In with Shay, and stay tuned for more videos like this.